Exclusive contract novel from Feilu Novel Network. NBA. This superstar is too steady. Bai Feng travels through 09 and gains the King of Reasonableness system. The more reasonable he plays on the court, the more rewards he will receive. After playing at NCAA for a year, the extremely reasonable gameplay allowed him to elevate his point guard skills to the full level, but due to his overly steady playing style, the data he gained did not explode. In the first 10 years of the draft, with no one optimistic about Bai Feng, the Knicks still chose him in a high position. Afterwards, Knicks fans were pleasantly surprised to find that Bai Feng, who did not have outstanding performance on the field and had low statistics, was actually the most crucial player for the team to win. Curry. Bai Feng is really too steady. Compared to him, I'm just too rough on the field. Harden. The opponent I least want to face is Bai Feng, he has no flaws at all. Kobe. White Maple is the strongest commander in history. I scored 60 points, but I still can't beat him. James. Do you really think Bai Feng is just steady? Hehe, he's so adept at hitting you. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. 0001 Knicks Major Change, Discussion on Draft. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Parallel World, 10 years. New York fans are already complaining. Although the Knicks, as the best-selling team in the entire NBA Major League, have never lacked a wealthy audience and huge exposure, their continued lackluster performance in recent years has still caused dissatisfaction among the team. Even those fans who are in the upper class will complain about the bad behavior of James Dolan, the team owner, on some occasions. So, upon hearing all of this, Dolan began a bold reform of the team. He stepped forward and fired the smiling assassin Isaiah Thomas, who had made no progress in his coaching career, and hired D'Antoni as the trusted coach. The change of coach has indeed achieved good results, but as the saying goes, a clever woman cannot cook without rice. During the years when the smiling assassin has been in charge of the team, the management has also been poor, and the entire team does not have outstanding players. Especially at last year's draft, after the Knicks missed out on Stephen Curry, the team's management underwent another major overhaul. Steve Mills, who had worked in the management of the Knicks for many years and had extensive experience in various departments, was appointed as the new general manager. After that, the Knicks welcomed a huge wave of transactions. Just after the end of last season, they traded Amare Stoudemire, a strong attacking insider, from the Suns, allowing this team, which should have been the most shining in the league, to finally welcome an all-star player. And general manager Steve Mills publicly told fans, "Our signings have just begun, rest assured, we will definitely build a superstar team." Steve Mills has such confidence, which all comes from the team owner Dolan's delegation of power to him and his strong support. The 10-year off-season doesn't have many big fish, and the Knicks aim to improve their competitiveness, so they want to try their luck in the draft. The entire team really needs a qualified point guard, but in this year's draft, they didn't have a high ranking and could only trade up. Fortunately, the Knicks have abundant assets. All teams, of course, want John Wall, and the Knicks are no exception, but as the only outstanding college star player in this draft, it is clear that the Washington Wizards will not trade their number 1 pick. In the end, the Knicks spent some assets and traded from the Pistons to 7th overall in the first round. With only 1 day left until the draft, there is intense discussion in the conference room of the senior management of the Knicks regarding the draft simulation that will start tomorrow at Madison Garden Square. Team head coach Mike D'Antoni gave his opinion. In 7th place, my suggestion is to choose Gordon Hayward. If you want a defender, Paul George should not be wrong. If you want a point guard, you should choose Eric Bledsoe. I don't think there is anything outstanding about the Dragon Country point guard you mentioned. This meeting has been going on for over an hour now, and the main topic of discussion is actually a player from Dragon Country, Bai Feng. At the just concluded NCAA tournament, Bai Feng won the championship with Duke University, but he did not win the final MOP. The winner of this award was his teammate Kyle Singler. But in the end, only Bai Feng had the confidence to participate in the NBA draft at Duke University. Bai Feng is indeed the core of this Duke University team. His performance is extremely stable, but the data is average. As the team's point guard, he can average 11.3 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 5.2 assists per game. Such data is not obvious, and can be considered a qualified data for core point guards on the college field. The strangest thing is that Bai Feng's data is extremely stable. Almost every game has this data, without any explosive performance or abnormal performance. In the semi-finals and finals, he still performed this way, and as a result, the MOP award was won by his teammates who performed exceptionally well. But at this moment, Knicks general manager Steve Mills shook his head frequently regarding D'Anthony's opinion. He emphasized again, White Maple's most outstanding feature is his stability. Although his average game data is very average, his playing style on the field is simply reasonable to the extreme. Take a look at his advanced data. His average shooting percentage is 64%, his three-point shooting percentage is 57%. He has sent 31 assists in 6 games, only 1 error, and the assist-to-error ratio has reached an astonishing 31. In the future, we will attract many star players with personality to join our team, but the team's point guard must be able to maintain the rhythm. After the general manager finished speaking, many people nodded frequently. But D'Antoni frowned. He didn't like this uncreative point guard. At the Suns, he was used to Steve Nash's wild and imaginative guard. Now that it's time for the Knicks, this team has traded his talented and beloved player, Xiaosi. They thought that with a point guard like Nash, they could replicate the previous Phoenix Suns storm. Now, the new general manager of the team seems to have a special fondness for a defender who plays normally on the field, has no creativity, and does not make any risky attempts. It seems that this general manager has a strong opinion of him. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 0002, King of Reasonableness, System, playing ball should be reasonable. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It has been a year since Bai Feng traveled to this parallel world. Sitting in the small green room of the NBA draft at Madison Garden Square at this moment, he was very natural. He was neither as excited as other players who predicted high draft picks, nor as nervous as those unruly kids. He crossed his legs and played with his phone, waiting for the outcome to come. A year ago, Bai Feng traveled to this parallel world. Travel through the system and embark on a basketball dream. As a fan of online novels in his past life, Bai Feng Yuan thought he wanted to start the fast-paced NBA like the protagonists of those novels. However, this system is somewhat different. The system is called the King of Reasonableness system. As the name suggests, as long as Bai Feng's choices on the court are reasonable, he can receive rewards. The higher the rationality, the better the reward. For example, using an extremely standard shot on the court and shooting within a reasonable area. The system will prompt, ding, choose to take action. Excellent, gain. Robust value +3, USD +300. But if a bad shooting choice is made on the field, even if the ball is thrown, the system will prompt. Ding, shooting choice. Extremely poor, gain. Steady value 0.3, focus 0.3. Similarly, passing the ball is the same. A reasonable pass will earn a reward. And if the pass is unreasonable, even if it is fancy and forms an assist, it will still be punished systematically. Of course, this system is comprehensive and not limited to reflecting these aspects of data. On the field, every move you make will be systematically evaluated. On the offensive end, even if you have no ball in your hands and run reasonably, you can still receive rewards. Even a reasonable blocking or proper positioning will receive rewards. Sometimes, even if you don't hold the ball and don't run, but instead stand still on the offensive end, it may be judged by the system as unreasonable positioning and punished. The same goes for the defensive end, where reasonable defensive choices will also be rewarded. After understanding the operating philosophy of this system, Bai Feng was quite excited. Because as long as the choice is reasonable, in addition to obtaining a steady value, you can also receive a reward in US dollars. Isn't this just money brushing? That definitely needs to be done hard. Spending tens of thousands of dollars in one game can bring endless joy to life. But soon, Bai Feng realized that it was not as simple as he thought. As a freshman at Duke University, his talent and foundation are actually quite good. He was selected for the school team, and as the team's first substitute point guard, he can earn a lot of playing time. In the first team training match, Bai Feng encountered tremendous resistance. As soon as he entered the game, the system started evaluating him, but 9 out of 10 times he criticized Bai Feng's choice as unreasonable. Unreasonable defensive positioning, unreasonable offensive passes, unreasonable shooting choices, and unreasonable pick and roll. He didn't earn much money in a game, but it almost ruined his confidence. This is also unreasonable, that is also unreasonable. Is it in vain for me, as a substitute guard in the NCAA league, and for all the knowledge I had in my past life as a football king? However, after careful consideration and reflection, Bai Feng, who had calmed down, was pleasantly surprised to find that this system was actually the best personal coach. It can tell you what is reasonable and what is unreasonable. In this way, as long as you improve those unreasonable aspects, you can become more reasonable, obtain more robust values, and earn more dollars. Having figured this out, Bai Feng humbly accepted the unreasonable prompts from the system and actively corrected them. Quickly, his unreasonable aspects became fewer and fewer, and a week later, out of 10 evaluations, 5 were already reasonable. 2 weeks later, out of 10 evaluations, there will be 7 reasonable ones. At this moment, Bai Feng's increasingly reasonable choices on the field impressed the team coach. Afterwards, in a game where the main point guard made various wild throws and unreasonable passes at critical moments, resulting in a loss, the head coach couldn't bear it anymore and pressed the main point guard onto the bench, instead allowing Bai Feng to play. In the next game, Bai Feng played quite reasonably. Reasonable transfer of the ball, reasonable running, reasonable pick and roll selection, reasonable passing, reasonable defensive positioning, reasonable shooting. After a game, although Bai Feng only got 7 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists, he led the team to a big victory over their strong opponents. 2 teammates received over 20 points, and everyone is paying attention to them. But in the hands of the coach, Bai Feng's efficiency value in this game is very high, even twice that of all the players who finished second. Of course, everyone only saw that Bai Feng had only 5 assists, but they didn't remember that there were still many of his second assists that were not reflected in the data. Of course, everyone can see that Bai Feng only has 7 points, but he makes 3 out of 3 shots and has a 100% shooting percentage. Everyone didn't even notice that Bai Feng had 0 blocks and 0 steals, but in reality, he caused the opponent to hit the ball 3 times on the defensive end and forced the opponent to make dribbling mistakes 4 times. Of course, they wouldn't have noticed that Bai Feng made 0 mistakes throughout the game. After this game, Duke's head coach and Bai Feng had a meeting, and the head coach decided to let Bai Feng stay in the starting point guard position for a long time. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. If 0003 can enter the NBA, then it will be stable. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Name, Bai Feng, age, 19, height, 195 arm extension 208, weight, 85 shooting. 97 dribbling. 96 passing. 99 comprehensive evaluation. 87 The draft hasn't started yet, and looking at his attributes in the system panel, Bai Feng is once again lost in memories. In the past year of NCAA's growth, he has gained a lot of stability and rewards by completing tasks and playing games. As a point guard, Bai Feng has elevated all his abilities to shooting, dribbling, and passing. It is not an exaggeration to say that before the NCAA finals, Bai Feng had already possessed the strength of NBA point guard level, and even the top shooting, dribbling, and passing skills in the NBA. But in that final, Duke narrowly defeated his opponent and won the NCAA championship. Bai Feng made 5 out of 6 shots throughout the game, scoring 11 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal. This kind of data is not eye-catching enough, especially compared to his teammate Kyle Singler's 3-point shot of 6 in 7 and his 27-point record. In fact, Bai Feng himself knew that with his invincible strength, he could easily use the ball to shoot wildly outside the 3-point line, play with his opponents with top-notch dribbling, and even pass various clever passes. Anyway, he has absolute ball power, and 30+10 in a single game is not a problem. But over the course of the year, he has developed a reasonable style of playing. Shooting the ball against the opponent's defense, even if it enters, will be judged by the system as an unreasonable shot. Playing with silky dribbling on opponents, although cool, will be judged by the system as too sticky and unreasonable. A dazzling pass, although very dazzling, can still be judged by the system as an unreasonable pass. After playing reasonable basketball for a year, Bai Feng's mentality has also tended to stabilize. He is not very enthusiastic about those behaviors that attract attention. The most crucial thing is that a reasonable choice can yield robust values and dollars. As for the data, he doesn't care. Anyway, he can still enter the NBA to continue playing, and as for the additional rookie contract income brought by high ranking, Bai Feng doesn't care. Therefore, people do not pay much attention to him. Of course, there is not a lack of attention. After all, he is the main point guard of the NCAA championship team and is still invited to the small greenhouse. But the media is not optimistic about him. Even for the draft pick Xiaoyan, most media still believe that Bai Feng cannot be selected in the lottery. An Asian backcourt player, this is questionable. Although Rukuni's interior performance is very good, Asian players' competitiveness in the backcourt is too small. That's right, a champion defender with an average of 11+4 per game cannot be said to lack any strength, but it's only limited to this. Although the efficiency is high, it is built on the foundation of not daring to take action and not daring to gamble on passing the ball. He's too steady, but the intensity on the NBA court will be much higher, and opponents won't give him the opportunity to handle the ball steadily. Before the draft, most rookies brush their phones and follow websites and forums related to the draft market. They are often excited or nervous, waiting for their fate. Bai Feng is also scrolling through his phone, but he doesn't care about it at all. At this moment, he is scrolling through social media apps. Every day, Bai Feng chats with many girls during training and competitions, which is the greatest pleasure for boys of this age group. Although Bai Feng is steady and appears to be a handsome boy with a somewhat serious abstinent style, in reality, he will not let go of this hobby that is common among normal boys. Compared to most other professional basketball players who quickly handle pretty girls, Bai Feng is also very steady in picking up girls. He can fall in love at first sight, but he doesn't advocate being honest with each other from the beginning. Gradually from chatting, as a top student at Duke University, Bai Feng can handle any topic. Then there are various interesting dates, such as libraries, museums, cinemas, and cafes. Green and astringent girls may think that Bai Feng is the type of slow heating. But in fact, Bai Feng is also quite steady in picking up girls. Gradual progress is not about slowing down oneself, but about assessing risks. Unlike most boys who are 18 or 19 years old and have little social experience, Bai Feng, as a traveler, knows the complexity of this society. Girls are far from as simple as their beautiful, pure, and even cute appearances. Many girls approach high school players who are about to enter their careers with a purpose in mind. And those young children who do not know how to assess risks may eventually cause big trouble in the future due to these inconspicuous mistakes. Just as Bai Feng replied to a girl with a note stating, California, Jessica, 23, 178, Virgo, the draft also began. Bai Feng put away his phone, with a faint smile on his face, dressed in a proper suit, sitting in the inconspicuous seat of the small greenhouse, quietly waiting for himself to be selected. At this moment, he was very open-minded and thought, it doesn't matter if it's not a lottery show, even if it's not in the first round, it's okay. Anyway, as long as you can make it to the NBA, then it's stable. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 0004 Choose a jerk from New York. Foolish people have more money. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The year known as the draft year has never been very eye-catching in talent shows. Apart from knowing a character named John Wall, people have almost no concept of other rookies. Therefore, the attention to this draft is very low. Everyone knows that the Wizards will use the top pick to sign Wall, but as for other players, they are mostly sidelines with a low success rate. Therefore, if these people enter the league, it will probably not cause any significant changes to the current situation, and there will not be much attention from local media. But in Dragon Country, a considerable number of fans are paying attention to this draft. There is no other reason, it's just because this year, a Dragon Ball player participated in the draft. Bai Feng, in recent months, a quite unfamiliar name has come into the sight of enthusiastic Dragon Country fans. At the end of March, a news story about Dragon Country player Bai Feng leading Duke University to reach the top 4 of the NCAA quickly became popular among Dragon Country fans. No one has ever heard of the name Bai Feng, and there is almost no information available online about him. Prior to this, almost all players from Dragon Country grew up domestically before landing in the NBA. So, those talented players with strength were already well known to Dragon Country fans in China before landing in the NBA. And Bai Feng seems to have taken an unusual path, playing basketball in high schools in the United States, then entering university and the NCAA league. Duke won the final NCAA championship, while Bai Feng, as the main point guard, had average data and performance. However, even so, the fanatical Dragon Country fans still showed considerable excitement. After all, this was the era when Dragon Country fans were most passionate about basketball, and at the same time, it was also the era they were most conflicted about. The Yao once created an unparalleled height, but in recent years, this young Dragon Country supercenter has been plagued by injuries. The landing of A.League made fans feel as if they saw the imminent rise of Dragon Country basketball, but he also opened high and walked low. At the 2008 Olympics, the Dragon Country men's basketball team, Dream Team, and European powerhouse Spain all played back and forth, once again making fans feel that the future is promising. Now, another Dragon Country player is about to land in the NBA, which is indeed worth paying attention to. However, the voices of discussion on basketball forums are different. I don't know if this white maple will be selected. I have looked at some draft agencies' predictions, many of which predict that he will be at the end of the first round, and there are also many predictions for the second round, but there are very few predictions that he will not be selected. The key is that Bai Feng was actually invited into the small greenhouse. In the first round, I think it's a bit uncertain. If it's an insider player, then the lottery may be stable. However, as Asian defenders, the innate difference in physical talent still has to be acknowledged. Looking at his NCAA data, it's very average. His performance on the field is also average, and it feels like his teammates helped him win the championship. Thank goodness I was selected in the first round, and from then on, the NBA has also had our Dragons backcourt players. Amidst the lively discussions among Dragon Country fans, the draft began. The Wizards signed John Wall as the top scorer. The 76ers selected Evan Turner with a spot pick. The Nets selected Derek Favors with a scout pick. Wesley Johnson, Demarcus Cousins, and EP1-10 were selected respectively. The draft continued, and NBA President Stern walked onto the stage for the 7th time holding an envelope. This number 7 spot was originally from the Detroit Pistons, but before the draft, the Pistons had already completed a trade with the Knicks, and this spot was actually traded to the Knicks. People are discussing whether the Knicks should choose a backcourt player they lack, Gordon Hayward or Paul George. Or do you choose high-quality insiders like Greg Monroe? Stern opened his face and suddenly frowned, showing a hint of surprise unconsciously. But it quickly returned to normal. He read out, number 7, the Knicks, who were traded from the Pistons, chose White Maple from Duke University in this order. Upon hearing this name, the whole audience was shocked. Many rookies who were waiting for their high-ranking predictions to be selected looked puzzled and confused, looking at each other and even discussing in disbelief. What? The Knicks chose the Asian point guard who didn't dare to shoot or take action on the field. The point guard who averaged 10 points per game and followed his teammates to win the NCAA championship was actually selected by the Knicks. New York is really a place where people have a lot of silly money. If such a player is selected in this position, it will definitely go to the extreme. The Knicks are truly a philanthropist, and this statement is indeed true. Amidst a chorus of questioning, Bai Feng pursed his lips and smiled. He briefly tidied up his suit, then stood up from the most inconspicuous corner, put on a baseball cap with the Knicks imprinted on it, and walked onto the stage. He appeared quite steady, neither excited nor incredulous. I expressed my gratitude calmly to those who should be thanked. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 0005 New York fans are exploding, the Summer League is about to start. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The New York Knicks selected an NCAA point guard with a number 7 pick in the draft, who averaged 10+4 per game and is also an Asian Dragons national point guard. This incident did not cause any major uproar. The reason behind this is that this year's draft was too obscure and did not receive much attention. As those draft media have commented, this year may be the toughest draft in nearly 20 years, and no one cares who the teams have chosen here. Indeed, if it were placed in other draft conferences, the Knicks' actions would definitely trigger a lot of discussion, or more precisely, ridicule. The impressive Knicks, the team with the highest market value in the entire NBA, the most influential and exposed team, the team that stars are eager to play for in recent years, it has been a series of jokes, hiring a smiling assassin who almost everyone in the industry knows he can't be a coach, as well as a terrible general manager. As a result, the Knicks have had a terrible performance in recent years, and every time they draft, they always have a bad eye for some mediocre talent. Although this year is a small year with low attention and no ridicule from the outside world, it does not mean that New York does not have it. Before the draft ended, New York fans were already in a frenzy. Sleeping slot, what are the Knicks doing? Although it's a small year, we can't make such a random selection. This is the 7th sign obtained through trading team resources. It's over, it's over. The Knicks team is completely over, it's already rotten. The entire team has been replaced, and we can't save them anymore. Is that it? Choose a 10+4 Asian point guard. If I remember correctly, this guard named Bai Feng was called a guaranteed efficiency point guard during the NCAA finals. That kind of playing style is so invisible. In the NBA, can he dribble through the front court and pass the ball? The Knicks are completely rotten. It's okay not to look at such a Knicks. Ninema, refund. The fan controversy began to escalate, and Bai Feng became the target of attacks from New York fans without a fight. Of course, this is the pressure that comes with playing in a super metropolis like New York. The fans here are much more demanding than those in other cities. If you don't play well here, you will face more questioning and even verbal abuse. But if you play well, then the fans here can cheer you up to the sky. Bai Feng is too lazy to pay attention to these things. For him, he doesn't need to listen to the voices of local fans at this time. Moreover, Bai Feng did not pay attention either. His attention was focused on training, the upcoming summer league, and chatting with different girls. Before the start of the summer league, there was still ongoing debate within the Knicks over the issue of white maple. General manager Steve Mills hopes that head coach D'Antoni can value and cultivate white maple, treating him as a key point guard for the Knicks in the future. But D'Antoni had a different view, and on that day, the two of them discussed the matter again. General manager Steve Mills said, "Bai Feng is a steady player, and the reason we chose him is because he performed well enough during the trial training before. Indeed, he is not as energetic as the talented defenders on the field, but he always does the right thing at the right time, which is his greatest strength. Moreover, during the trial, we also saw that Bai Feng performs very well in dribbling, passing, and shooting." D'Antoni shook his head and said, "I know what you're saying, but such a player may be more suitable for working under a coach like Popovich. In my team-building style, Bai Feng seems to lack some creativity." Steve Mills smiled and patted Anthony's shoulder, saying, "Mike, you are a great coach. The management team unanimously believes that you definitely don't just know the way you played during your time with the Suns. Of course, in the future, we will introduce a group of creative attacking stars to the Knicks, and your wild ideas will still be realized." Steve Mills praised D'Antoni, and at the same time, the underlying message was clear. There are too few player leagues like Steve Nash, or in other words, top point guards are difficult to recruit. Now, we can only cultivate qualified point guards ourselves. How could the seasoned D'Antoni not hear the meaning behind it, so he nodded and casually said, "So, let's take a look at the performance of the White Maple Summer League." Steve Mills agreed, "Yes, we'll wait and see." It has to be said that Steve Mills is truly a veteran who has worked in various positions in the management of the Knicks. As soon as he became the general manager, the work of rebuilding the team was arranged in an orderly manner. They don't have time to watch the Summer League at all, because compared to continuing to bring in stars, it's really not worth mentioning. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Is the 0006 Summer League champion still not favored? You are listening at novelfull.audio. For Bai Feng, the Summer League is no different from the previous matches. Or more precisely, regardless of the nature of the game, even if the NBA Finals were placed in front of him, his game style would not change much. The year of college basketball experience that he has traveled through has helped him develop a steady style of playing. Nowadays, Bai Feng believes that there is nothing wrong with this way of playing. As a point guard, playing reasonably, steadily, and without making mistakes, the number of mistakes made by the entire team will be greatly reduced. This greatly increases the team's bottom line. This is also one of the important reasons why Duke University was able to play all the way to the finals and win the NCAA championship without any particularly strong star players this year. The NCAA knockout stage is a game of chance, and this approach is bound to have a lot of chance. Even if a team has exceptional strength, as long as they perform poorly in one game, they are highly likely to be eliminated unexpectedly. At the peak of the NCAA knockout stage in March, strong teams are knocked out every year, hence this period is also known as Crazy March. Under such game rules, the stability and lower limit of the team are very important. Similarly, in the densely scheduled NBA regular season, only by playing steadily can teams achieve better final results. Bai Feng had already figured out these principles, and as for his personal performance and fan evaluations, he didn't neglect them. But also not eager for quick success and instant benefits. As long as one maintains their own style, one day people will surely realize it. In his first Summer League game, Bai Feng appeared for 23 minutes, made 4 out of 5 shots, scored 9 points, grabbed 2 rebounds, and provided 4 assists without any mistakes. The Knicks also defeated the Nets 97.85, earning a good start. In the second Summer League game, Bai Feng appeared for 25 minutes, made 5 out of 7 shots, scored 11 points, grabbed 5 rebounds, and provided 5 assists, but still made no mistakes. The Knicks still achieved victory. In the next 3 games, Bai Feng's performance was also similar, and the Knicks still achieved 3 consecutive wins. After 5 games in the Summer League, the Knicks won the top spot in the Orlando Summer League. This Summer League is mostly composed of rookie players and some edge players who want to seek jobs in the NBA, aimed at showcasing themselves, or adaptive training before the new season, with little reference value. But the Knicks were able to secure the top spot, which surprised the team management. Bai Feng's average of 10.3 points and 4.4 assists per game in 5 matches is very average, but with an average of 24 minutes per game, this figure is not very bad. Most importantly, he still maintains extremely high efficiency. The average shooting percentage per game has reached an exaggerated 76%, and the 3-point shooting percentage has even reached 83.3%. And in 5 games, there were only 2 mistakes. Of course, these advanced data will only appear with the data analysts at the Knicks. The fans didn't even pay attention to Bai Feng. Their focus was on the top scorer John Wall, who scored an average of 23 plus 11 per game in the Summer League. Although the Wizards have only won 2 and lost 3 in the Summer League, this does not prevent fans from praising Wall. John Wall is truly the top pick of the year, his physical fitness is too explosive. That's right, he's too fast. On the court, he's as cool as a gust of wind. The draft media is still very professional. It seems that there is no suspense about the best rookie of the new season. On the forum where Knicks fans gathered, it was a sour atmosphere. Look at the point guard they chose, it's so strong. What we chose is completely incomparable. What's the solution? After all, they got the top scorer's ticket, and we only got the 7th ticket. This year is Xiaonian, and experts have said that besides the top scorer's ticket, the other ticket slots are similar. Forget it, just think about it. We can't expect that Dragon Kingdom control guard to do anything. Of course, there are also very few players who express their different opinions. What are you talking about? In the Summer League, we won all, we are champions. We should give more encouragement to the players. But it was immediately refuted. Hehe, games like Xiao Yan are just for fun and play. Who knows the winner? Even the scouts are watching the player's performance on the field. It's not that I'm hitting our Dragon Country rookie. Although he's quite handsome, he can only average 10 plus 4 per game in games like the Summer League. With a significant increase in NBA intensity, can he play normally on the field? What's the use of a Summer League championship? Our Knicks are completely ruined, and there's definitely no hope this year. Let's continue to fight for the top spot and win Kyrie Owen next year. New York fans are still frustrated, but Steve Mills, the general manager of the Knicks, excitedly said after reading the high-level data of the White Maple Summer League, "Sure enough, my vision is not wrong. White Maple is the kind of player we need. Now, our B.plan begins, and I believe it won't be long before the Knicks face earth-shattering changes. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 0007 competes for the position, is Felton going to cause trouble? You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Knicks did not participate in the larger Las Vegas Summer League. One is that the journey is too far and the cost is too high. Another is the previous Orlando Summer League, where the team's goals have already been achieved. Furthermore, the scouting team still has a lot of work to do. The recruitment work throughout the summer has been intense, although the Knicks have not achieved much except for their old partner Amarista Demeyer who brought in Anthony from the Suns. However, this does not mean that the scouting team is not working hard enough. In fact, their tasks during the entire offseason were very heavy. But seeking a trade during the NBA offseason is not something that you can definitely trade star players for if you are willing to spend money on. Trading is also buying and selling, it depends on whether you are willing or not. If no team is willing to trade, or if star players feel that playing in New York is too stressful, the Knicks lineup is too poor, and it is not conducive to winning the championship. Then it is difficult to facilitate a trade. The trading of other players in different roles is considered a minor incident. Even if the Knicks trade them today, perhaps they will become chips to be traded tomorrow. The NBA is a business arena, and players are commodities. In economically developed New York, this situation is even more brutal. Quickly, the new season is approaching, and the Knicks have no choice but to determine a starting lineup for the new season, despite the lack of smooth signings. Amar'e Stoudemire will become the only all-star player for the Knicks in the new season, so obviously, the entire team will revolve around him in the new season. Players such as Dar'O and Nicorinali, Wilson Chandler, and Ronnie Turiaf, who have acquired roles in various small trades, will assist Stoudemire. In terms of starting point guard position, whether to use Raymond Felton or rookie White Maple has once again become the focus of the team's debate. The coaching staff, led by D'Antoni, initially believed that Raymond Felton should be used as the starting lineup. After all, last season with the Bobcats, Felton was already a qualified point guard averaging 12 plus 6 per game. The management, led by General Manager Steve Mills, is still optimistic about Bai Feng. Their reasons are simple. Amar'e Stoudemire and Bai Feng are the only two players on the team's training list this season, and the rest of the players can be traded at any time. We should focus our energy on the right place. In one sentence, D'Antoni compromised. Felton is indeed more mature, but ultimately, he is not the point guard type that the Shui ideal. A guard who can be traded away at any time, of course, there is no need to invest too much time in him. Although the off-season has ended, the overall goal of the Knicks team is quite clear, and they will still try to seek to continue bringing in star players before the trade deadline. Anyway, it's not his ideal point guard, so it's normal for D'Antoni to sell face to General Manager Steve Mills at such times. After all, it is very important for a team to have a harmonious relationship between the management and coaching staff. But at this moment, General Manager Steve Mills had a sudden idea and laughed, why not do this? Many people have doubts about Bai Feng as a player, so let's let Bai Feng and Raymond Felton compete for the position. Coincidentally, the preseason is about to start. In fact, Bai Feng was not aware that he was in competition. And when the team gathered for training in the new season, he didn't feel any emotional fluctuations when he had to play alongside star players like Stoudemire. Normally, a rookie player who has just joined the league will experience significant emotional fluctuations when competing with NBA stars, either showing excitement, nervousness, or more or less. But Bai Feng doesn't know at all, because he knows very well that no matter who team he plays with, playing in the most reasonable way on the field will be his only choice. But Raymond Felton learned from some hearsay that he was in a vortex. As a local player who has been playing in the NBA for several years, Philton naturally has some friends with the Knicks. He has good relationships with Smith, Wilson Chandler, and others. In addition, he also has friends within the management team. The news naturally needs to be more informed. Upon learning that he was about to compete with a rookie player from Dragon Ball, who averaged 10 plus 4 per game in college, Felton was initially shocked. On the training ground, he was staring at Bai Feng, who was practicing seriously, and said to his teammates, "What kind of relationship does that Dragon Country kid have with the general manager? Why is the general manager so optimistic about him?" "Who knows, Raymond? I don't think the relationship is important, what's important is the performance on the field. As long as you compare him, we will support you." Yeah, the best way is to wait until the training is over and find a reason to confront him on your own, so everyone can see the difference between you. This way, things will become much simpler. Felton smiled at his teammate's suggestions and nodded, saying, "That's a great idea, brothers. That's it. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Is it reasonable to emphasize the importance of 00081. On point 1 competition with you? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding, reasonable positioning. Obtained. None, there are no rewards for training matches. Ding, pass the ball reasonably. Obtain. None, there is no reward in the training match. Ding, take action. Choice. Excellent. Gain. None, there are no rewards for training matches. Even in training matches, there will be no rewards or punishments in the system, but Bai Feng still chooses the most reasonable playing style. He has formed a pattern and deeply understands the benefits of a reasonable playing style. Don't say it, there are really many benefits. The most reasonable way to play is not to be very tired. As a point guard, when dribbling past half-court, pass as needed, pick and roll as needed. With a point guard, make a decisive shot as needed. Most of the time, there is no need to be too clingy to the ball or overly focused on attacking. After all, as a defender, one must focus on defense. While organizing the attack well, it is the most important thing for defenders to stand in the first defensive position of the entire team and prevent opponents from attacking quickly. As long as these 2 points are done well, then, for a point guard, playing is considered reasonable. If he only did these 2 things well, Bai Feng found that it would actually be very easy to play a game. You don't have to use fancy dribbling and dribbling like those American guards, and use various passes to attack the basket, so your physical fitness is guaranteed. The most important thing is not to lose the defensive position that defenders should occupy on the offensive end due to excessive emphasis on attacking. In this way, there is less offensive data, but it often appears in the most reasonable position when the opponent launches a fast attack, preventing them from scoring easily. Perhaps you just created a dribbling collision, or prevented the opponent from scoring a direct fast attack, without any indication in the data. But the actual effect is the same as breaking through the basket and striving to score 2 points after a magnificent pass. But if you don't appear in such a position, then you will become the kind of player on the field who only knows how to attack but has no defense. The coaching staff will record this information in the first place, and over time, in the impression of fans, you will also become a defensive loophole. Long-term competition like this has made Bai Feng realize the same effect, a very laborious one, although very impressive on the offensive end and data, can attract attention, but at the same time, there are also many drawbacks. The other is quite convenient, and most importantly, no one will think that you are playing unfairly. Even if someone wants to throw the blame, they won't be able to throw it at you. From these aspects alone, Bai Feng thinks the latter is very good. The most crucial one is that a reasonable gameplay will earn systematic rewards. Do you still need to choose? The Knicks are not the kind of team that must achieve good results in the new season. The team is still in the reconstruction stage, and the goal of the new season is only to climb out of the quagmire. So the players don't have much pressure, and playing here, with a good salary and many benefits, coupled with the high attention in the big city, playing basketball, earning money, and bubble girls' life is simply not too wonderful. Therefore, the team training matches before the season had a very good atmosphere, and everyone played very easily. Just as the training match was about to end, Felton, who was facing Bai Feng, suddenly changed his relaxed pace of the game. During a defense, he suddenly moved forward and hit Bai Feng's arm with his head. Just as Bai Feng was puzzled by why his teammates suddenly became so aggressive, Felton blindfolded and looked in pain. Just as Bai Feng thought he had accidentally injured his teammate and was about to apologize, Felton began to ask, "I said, Wanpi kid, it's just a training match. do you need such a big move? Bai Feng is a bit confused. Is he moving too much? Didn't you hit me on your own initiative? He wanted to explain, but Philton's mouth was like a bolt of lightning, not giving him a chance to speak. I know what you rookies are thinking, you want to pull us old birds down and get our place. No, 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 you're all too arrogant. You always think that by achieving a good result in college, you can dominate the NBA. Hehe, do you know how many levels of intensity the NBA field is higher than in college? Do you think that in team training matches, we old birds are really just that kind of strength? Come on, kid, let's have a 1-on-point-1 match, let you see the true strength of the NBA. At first, Bai Feng felt a bit uneasy about accidentally hitting his teammates, which made him angry. But when he heard it in the end, he also understood that Raymond Felton was the one who took the initiative to cause trouble with his emotions. Bai Feng wondered why someone would come to provoke him, as he usually doesn't show off his beauty or provoke anyone. Of course, he is not afraid of provocation, after all, his point guard skills are almost at full level. To play reasonably on the field, these full-level skills may not be fully reflected. If it's a 1-on-point-1 competition, would it still be reasonable to emphasize with you whether it's reasonable or not? Regarding this, Bai Feng smiled slightly at the corner of his mouth and readily agreed, okay, then I'll see and see. A 1-on-point-1 match is about to start, and teammates gather around to cheer. Bai Feng, who was walking back, shook his head and sighed in his heart, alas, if you want to bring trouble yourself, then it's not my fault. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 0009 Super 3-point, shocking everyone. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. In the training facility at Madison Garden Square, the Knicks players are all preparing to watch a 1-on-point-1 match. It was initiated by the old bird Raymond Felton to the newbie White Maple. The two are still preparing, and everyone around them has started whispering. Alas, the rookies are still too naive. Bai Feng didn't even know Raymond's malicious intentions, so he agreed at once. Now he's a bit difficult. To be honest, Bai Feng is actually quite good at playing basketball. He doesn't have any fancy moves, and every move is very reasonable. He can't pick any flaws, which should be the type that college coaches like the most. I also quite enjoy playing with him. As long as I run reasonably, he can definitely pass the ball to me at the most suitable time. Playing with him is too easy. Unfortunately, we are all peripheral players who are either traded or laid off by the team. It would be best if we could only be a water dispenser administrator. I heard that Raymond learned internal news and the management decided to let him compete with Bai Feng for the starting point guard position in the new season. Therefore, he now intends to deliberately provoke and challenge Bai Feng in a 1-on-point-1 battle. After Bai Feng is defeated, other teammates will then pressure the management to forcibly take the starting point guard position. Alas, to be honest, I think Bai Feng's team has better abilities, but he's definitely not a match for Raymond in singles. Ultimately, it's because Bai Feng is a foreign player and I feel sorry for him. Except for the key players of the new season, all the peripheral players are feeling sorry for Bai Feng. In regular training matches, Bai Feng often plays on the same team as them. They are the audience who can most intuitively feel that playing with Bai Feng will become simple and easy. At this time, sympathy for Bai Feng is also a silent cry for their marginalization in the NBA. However, players who cannot protect themselves naturally do not have the right to speak up for other players. Amidst a burst of cheers, the 1-on-point-1 competition began. Felton pretended to be relaxed and said, "Don't say that as an experienced player, I bully you, rookie. You serve first, we play an 11-point system, and we don't exchange possession when scoring goals. How about that?" Bai Feng smiled rarely and said, "Feel free." The crowd was a bit dazed, and Bai Feng, who usually plays games without saying a word or a smile, seemed to have been replaced by someone else. The sudden strong confidence emanating from him also made it difficult for them to understand. But the next moment, everyone was shocked. As soon as Bai Feng received the ball, he didn't even think about it. 2 steps outside the 3-point line, he took a direct shot. Schwa. Hit. 3-0. He has taken the lead. The crisp 3-part swish of the internet made everyone's mouths wide open. So accurate, these 3 points. I'll go ahead and take the lead. Bai Feng has something. Don't forget, Bai Feng's open space shooting is very accurate. In the Summer League, his 3-point shooting percentage is as high as 83%. After being reminded by everyone, Raymond Felton suddenly realized. Indeed, the reason why Bai Feng can compete with him for the position of main point guard naturally has some advantages. These advantages are obvious. One is that he handles the ball very well on the field, and the other is that he never throws recklessly, or rather, he only takes shots when there is an empty space. And Bai Feng's point guard shooting percentage is indeed high. Felton is not unaware of these characteristics, but most NBA perimeter players are good at shooting from open spaces, especially in regular training where there are plenty of players who hit the nail on the head. In order to show his composure, Felton threw the ball to Bai Feng again and waved at him, but did not move forward. He said, "Come again." A look of, "You throwing yourself at me." Regarding this, Bai Feng smiled again and without hesitation, he made another decisive move at the same location. Schwa. It's a hollow hit again. 6-0. Seeing this scene, Felton's face showed a slightly uncomfortable expression, and roast. Just my luck. The onlookers were once again shocked. I'll go, it's so accurate. 2 consecutive long-range 3-pointers, both are hollow hits. If Raymond doesn't defend himself by 3 points, he will overturn. Who said it's not? Raymond, you have to defend against Bai Feng's 3-point shot. His open space shooting is really accurate. Felton's first stage match failed, which was completely beyond his expectations. Of course, he knew that Bai Feng's 3-point shot was accurate, so he completely stood on the 3-point line. But this guy actually shot straight from 2 steps outside the 3-point line and hit 2 consecutive balls. In this era, this kind of long-range 3-point is not a conventional weapon, and these players naturally cannot understand. Now, the score has reached 6.0, with an 11-point system and no exchange of possession for goals. The rules were set by Felton, and he is now quite passive. If he gets another 3-pointer from Bai Feng, he will come to the match point. He dare not be careless anymore, he must fully adhere to the defensive footsteps. Regarding this, Bai Feng was quite comfortable at the moment. His almost perfect shot had not been fully displayed in the past year, and now it can be considered an opportunity for performance. Looking at Philton, he decided to show off a little bit. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. 0010 Slippery dribbling, wobbling down Philton. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Watching Felton finally stop being too big and choose to defend closely against White Maple, everyone began to discuss again. Raymond has finally taken it seriously. If he continues to shoot with White Maple, there is really a possibility of overturning. Yeah, if we were so defensive, it wouldn't be easy for Bai Feng to fight. That's right, Bai Feng's only way of scoring seems to be through shooting. It's difficult for him to defend his shots. This is the understanding of his teammates towards Bai Feng. Although it is a bit superficial, in fact, whether in the summer league or in regular training, Bai Feng only uses shooting to score. Is it true that Bai Feng only knows how to shoot? Obviously not, although his breakthrough layup and breakthrough throwing skills are not top-notch, they are not bad either. Not to mention, as long as he is willing, his dunks are quite explosive. But why only use shooting in games? It's not just for playing more reasonably. So, to change the question, are scoring methods such as breakthrough layups, breakthrough throws, and dunks unreasonable? Not entirely. However, in most cases, Bai Feng did not make attacking the basket his main task on the field. His more reasonable task was to organize the attack and maintain the team's defense. This role positioning destined Bai Feng to have a very high rationality in positioning. Without anyone filling his defensive position, a breakthrough attack would clearly cause him to lose the team's best defensive position, resulting in unreasonable positioning. In other words, in these situations, the irrationality of attack methods is determined by the rotation of team configuration, not by the inherent irrationality of these attack methods. The highest priority in a reasonable position determines that the most reasonable scoring method is shooting. However, Bai Feng's average of around 10 points per game is almost not an independent offense. In most cases, it is because he has gained an empty space opportunity or his teammates have been blocked and passed back to him, and he must take a shot. In this way, many fans, even inexperienced scouts, have given Bai Feng a rating. Lack of independent attacking ability, good shooting accuracy, but more inclined towards empty space shooting. The simple summary of this evaluation is that there is no offensive ability. What teammates see is mostly the same. So when Felton let go of Old Bird's pride and began to defend White Maple with all his might, they all felt that White Maple was difficult. However, in the next second, everyone was once again shocked. I saw Bai Feng, who was being closely guarded, suddenly activate and accelerate from one side to attract Felton's center of gravity. Immediately, a silky dribbling from behind changed direction and broke through Felton's defense. He began to accelerate and was about to charge towards the penalty area. And Felton's reaction was also extremely rapid. Although he looked a bit strong, his agility was actually very high. He quickly adjusted his pace, which was also an acceleration. Taking advantage of his shorter height than Bai Feng, he quickly blocked Bai Feng's attack route again. He seems to have succeeded. However, at this moment, Bai Feng suddenly made an emergency stop and received a crotch pull-down ball, extremely slippery. Felton was taken aback. He had no idea that as a point guard in regular games, Bai Feng, who didn't dribble much in the front court, would have such a level of dribbling skills. The sudden change of direction had completely lost Philton's center of gravity. At this moment, he was swayed by Bai Feng again, and his feet slipped and stumbled before falling down. Felton knocked down. Everyone opened their mouths wide at this moment, and as they watched the incredible scene before them, they all exclaimed in surprise. And Bai Feng, who pulled back from his crotch and picked up the ball, happened to be standing outside the 45-degree three-point line. After closing the ball, he calmly took the three-point shot. Schwa. Another hollow hit. 9-0. The whole audience suddenly exploded. I'll go, genius. This dribbling, this combination, this shot, it's too slippery, isn't it? Oh my goodness, is this really the White Maple I remember? Ma Dan, he knocked Raymond down directly and made a quick stop with a three-point shot. Those who can perform this level of operation are probably offensive players of Kobe's level. Why can Bai Feng also do it? There's only one possibility: we underestimate him in our daily lives. Even Stoudemire and Wilson Chandler, among others, shook their heads and looked at the scene on the field with some disbelief. Felton, who struggled to get up from the floor, was also confused. Looking at the 9-0 score on the scoreboard, he felt so unreal. The opponent is just a rookie with an average of 10+4 per game in the college league, a rookie with almost no impressive performance on the field. Why is it that they are now facing each other alone, but have become so inexplicable? Can we say that this rookie happens to be in perfect condition at this time? Or rather, there are some things in the eyes of the top executives of the Knicks he was somewhat skeptical, but immediately regained his confidence. He hadn't lost yet, and in this 1.1 match, he still had a chance. So he patted his butt and threw the ball to Bai Feng, saying, "Come again. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.